Alright guys, today we are talking about steps of muscle contraction. Alright guys, step number 1. So it all begins from an electrical nerve impulse, also called electric signal, but technically called action potential, sent by the brain through a nerve to a muscle. Step number 2. So action potential is traveling through nerves, and our nerves are made of axons. Axons have synapses, that means space in between, where acetylcholine transfers this electrical impulse, this action potential, from presynaptic receptor to postsynaptic receptor. So the biggest thing in step number 2 that we have to remember is that acetylcholine transfers this electrical impulse within our nerves. Step number 3. So here in this step, action potential reaches neuromuscular junction, also called motor end plate. So what is neuromuscular junction? Neuromuscular junction is a site where the nerve connects to a muscle. So neuro means something related to brain. Muscular means muscle. So neuromuscular, as they connect, that site is known as neuromuscular junction or motor end plate. Step number 4. As the action potential reaches the muscle at the neuromuscular junction, it triggers the release of calcium. Now, this calcium is stored in and released from sarcoplasmic reticulum. So what is sarcoplasmic reticulum? Let's break this word down. Sarco means muscle, plasmic means something in form of liquid, reticulum means a web of network. So when we are talking about sarcoplasmic reticulum, we are talking about the interior structure of a muscle that contains sarco, that means muscle, plasmic means liquid, and reticulum, that means a fine web network. 2 big things to remember from step number 4. First, release of calcium as the action potential reaches neuromuscular junction. And second, that the calcium is stored in and released from sarcoplasmic reticulum. Step number 5. The released calcium binds to troponin, and then troponin pulls off tropomyosin from the binding site of actin. Actin is the thin filament. So what is troponin? Troponin is a protein that is situated at the regular intervals with actin, the thin filament. And what is tropomyosin then? Tropomyosin is another protein molecule that runs along the length of actin filament. Biggest thing to remember from step number 5 is that the released calcium binds to troponin, and then troponin pulls off tropomyosin off the binding site of actin. Step number 6. As the troponin pulls off tropomyosin off the binding site of actin, it allows the myosin heads, that means the thick filaments head, to bind with actin. So here, the thick filament and thin filament are binding, and this is where the crossbridge cycle occurs. Biggest thing to remember from step number 6 is that this is where the crossbridge cycle occurs. This is where the myosin heads, that means the thick filaments head, bind with actin filament, that is the thin filament. Step number 7, the last step. Here we're going to talk about power stroke. When the actin filaments come together close, that is called power stroke, and that happens at the time of muscular contraction.